I think we're live.
Yes, we are.
Yes. Hi, how are you, African Tigress?
I'm good. What about you, Mambo?
Hoa.
I'm glad.
uh,
I'm glad yesterday we were cut short, but we are back now. So let's
I
give it.
mean, the time? Okay. But I really hope it doesn't go away today. Like, did you face power shortage today? Where you
Yeah,
are?
yeah. I fixed it. Actually,
Yeah.
I was able to fix it about 30
Yeah.
minutes after the stream ended.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
no, today power was okay where you are?
Yep. Power is okay where I am.
Oh, okay. Good. I hope it doesn't go off today. We
Hopefully.
have five people. Can you hear us, see us perfectly? Please comment, say hello.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see who we have in the stream.
Yeah. Until then, what we can do is like summarize what we talked about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, in summary, and add if I missed anything, we talked about Chinese doctors coming to Africa to be our saviors, Chinese breaking rules in Africa, and a Chinese province putting in an anti-discrimination measure in place. So we pretty
Yeah.
much discussed about that. Did I miss anything?
Nope, that's what we talked about yesterday, and I think we don't need to. I think we kind of finished. So
Yeah.
for those who are not able to join us yesterday, they can basically just watch the previous video.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So hi, Michael. Hi, Jay Lovett and Lance. Hello, we see you. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so I would like us to talk about first before we go to any news about like people are reporting everywhere that because of this quarantine, issues with mental health and suicide has gone up,
Yep. You
and
know,
it's mm,
a lot of people have lost their job. A number of people have been told, "Oh, you are going on unpaid leave until this issue is sorted." A number of people who are in business, also the business owners, are no longer able to carry out their business, especially those who are in the hospitality industry. So, that's quite a challenge because some people maybe some people could have been on business and they have bank loans that they need to pay. So they have no option but, stay at home or maybe try to look for other sources of revenue. And it's very hard, especially during this time. So basically, somebody really gets mentally disturbed, stressed and all that. If you have bills to pay, probably you have kids to feed, you have a wife or a husband and stuff like that. So it becomes very hard. And I really feel so sorry for the people who are affected. I wish our government could really come up with packages, at least provide some people with food and all that. Some countries are doing it, but it's really a challenge especially for most African countries where the governments are really not providing any packages to help those people who are most affected during this time.
yeah, because it's easier to say you in your house and saying stay home, keep safe, and you have an income, or at least you have a little bit money saved aside. But for those people, especially in Africa, most people earning is like a day-to-day thing. Like they go today outside and bring back the food they need. So it's easier said, like for the politicians or anybody else that is in the comfort of their homes. That's really easier to say. And also, aside from income, some people, introverts maybe not be affected that much, but some people live off of um, people. Like they need that communication going, they need that conversation going out. It gives them purpose. And for them not to get that, maybe they start feeling like they're alone in this world. Even the tiniest thought can, consume you and make you feel like you're going crazy. So I guess there's lots of things contributing to that, financially and emotionally. Hopefully, people can reach out to family members, friends that they know that are are most likely to go through that. And sometimes you see the strongest people are the ones that are affected, the ones you think from out of your friends they're really good, they're okay, nothing will happen. You never know.
Mhm.
People, strong people hold a lot of things inside. So that I would just wanted to mention. And what do you think is the best way to handle this, if you were to give advice?
Personally, I think there's a lot of counseling that really needs, even for those people who've suffered of COVID and recovered, they need counseling because there's even a lot that is happening, a lot of stigma. There's stigma because that's one thing that you'll have to deal with post COVID, especially for those who are affected. And when people get to know about it, people are more likely to be avoiding those people. So we need that counseling so that someone doesn't feel like they are alone. And then
True.
we should try and reach out to friends and family, like people whom you know can at least listen to you, and probably people whom you think or you feel might help you in case you're in a crisis or you have a problem. Yeah, I think communication might help, but I don't know about introverts because you said introverts might be easier for them, but I don't think so. Introverts might not be talking to people as much, but they always have their ways of just letting it go. And maybe sometimes some people it might involve traveling or just going somewhere. But you realize that during this time there's lockdown, there's restriction of movement in some places, so it makes it even a challenge even for those people who are introverted.
Okay, I understand. What I was saying was when it comes to you being used to it, not being able to have that big circle, or But yeah, the restrictions will make it harder whether you're introvert or extrovert. So the other thing I wanted us to talk about is the test kits that Tanzania discovered were already contaminated.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I saw that, and Magufuli is one very interesting person. And a lot of countries are on lockdown. Tanzania is not on lockdown, apart from just closing schools and some social gathering. They carrying on with their life pretty much the same. He said, if they close down the country or they go on lockdown, it's going to affect their economy. So, and he had this feeling that maybe the results were not making sense. So he took various samples from different animals and fruits and gave them names and even assigned them gender and age. And he sent them to the laboratory where they were conducting tests for those people who were affected with COVID or suspected cases. And surprisingly enough, animals like goat turned out to be positive. Purple turned out to be positive, the fruits. So it simply means there could be test kits that are contaminated. I remember, I think it is the US that had to send back or reject some test kits when I don't know if it was the US, but one of these countries where they found out that the test kits were actually contaminated and they had to send them back. So I think probably those kits that were donated could have landed somewhere in Africa or various countries in Africa, and there could be people who have been tested positive or who have been confirmed positive, while in real sense it's the test kits that were actually faulty.
Yeah, I also got, I don't know how true it is. I got like a video of this white South African talking about be careful because the test kits that they're going to force on you is contaminated. Please, my people, I don't know how legit the guy is, but I've seen a video like that. But also, I don't blame Magufuli for being suspicious, because even in those Western worlds, Western countries where they have tested people, um, the one you just mentioned, UK found lots of test kits already contaminated. Imagine you are going there as a healthy person, and then you come back and you're positive for that. And aside from the test kits, what there are now people are blaming the transparency of those who are reporting on the number of people affected with this virus is ridiculous, because if you've noticed, or if you've heard enough stories, people come out and say, my grandma died, but she didn't have anything, it was just she already had this issue, but they wrote it down as that virus.
Yeah.
Somebody dies, they're just, I don't know why, but overwhelmingly they're writing down cases which are not related to that, and writing them off as COVID-19, and that is skewing the results. And for some reason, there it looks like that they want some kind of panic coming out of it. I don't know why, but the thing is, other than the test kits, they're not giving us real results, because just recently they came out and said the fatality for the virus is 0. 0.5 maximum, 0. 0.3, 0. 0.5. So how many things are in this world that are way deadlier than that? I'm not putting down the virus. Of course, we need to
Yeah.
protect ourselves, stay safe, stay at home. If we can afford it, stay home and, work from home. But it's kind of weird, the way that they are showing it, that they are showing us, it doesn't look like it's the reality. And
Mm-hmm.
that, I understand why Magufuli felt like it doesn't sound right. Something does not sound right.
Yeah, because since COVID, people stopped dying of other diseases. So everybody who's dying at the moment, it's actually considered to be COVID, even when it's not. And
Yeah.
of course, there have been people who've complained that, oh, my relative so and so died, and this person had not interacted with people or anything, has been home, has been having this condition, but the results who came out, they said it was COVID. So I think we're going to get the real statistics. We're going to get the truth about this whole issue once this COVID is over. That's when we can be able to get the true. Sometimes things happen, and in the moment you are not able to figure out exactly what's happening. So a couple of months later, or 2 years, 3 years later, I know that there's going to be a report that's will be like, okay, so this is actually what was happening during that time.
Yeah. And I don't think we'll ever get that real information, even in that moment, because they want to make a case that this is a really serious thing that we all need to be afraid of globally. It's not just affecting Africa, it's not just affecting Europe or America. So already the results they're giving us and the transparency is off. So I don't know if we will be able to trust what they're giving us fully ever. But at the end of the day, even if it's not to the degree that they're talking about, we need to be cautious and protect ourselves and not take a risk. Talking about that virus, Senegal came up with a test kits that only cost $1. And
Yeah,
yeah, this is such
that's
an
that's
exciting.
that's yeah, that's quite amazing. Keeping in mind that I think, for instance, in Kenya, they said in order to test for COVID, it was about $25. Was it? Or I can't remember, but it was expensive for those people who want to test for COVID. Because I understand, once you feel or once you suspect you could have COVID, the first thing they do, they don't test you immediately. They screen you, and then they tell you go back, isolate. So if after 14 days you still feel the same, or once you suspect that you came into contact with somebody who could be a contact who had COVID, they screen you, and then after that you're going to isolate, and then they test you after 14 days. So if somebody wanted to do immediate tests, it's possible, but it's very expensive. So I'm just so glad. I'm so proud of Senegal. The fact that, like, I mean, I'm just so proud. Like the fact that they can come up with a test kit for just $1. I mean, that's quite impressive because, look, apart from being given fake test kits, like it's been confirmed in Tanzania, there could also be cases whereby some people are actually benefiting from the sales, selling them expensively. So we can actually all patronize Senegal for just $1. I mean, that's
Yeah.
our government, African governments can actually get the test kits from Senegal to make it possible for us to actually do mass testing across Africa.
Yeah, and they also reported that they'll send through for the rest of the nations in Africa. So hopefully our governments will receive them. And also they were showing how they made ventilators that cost like what $65, when in fact in the US and anywhere else it's hundreds and thousands of dollars to make one ventilator.
Mhm.
So that also is an innovation that we need to be proud of. And speaking
Yeah.
about innovation, Ghana also they just launched their drone system, dropping samples and drugs. So it was made in Ghana, right?
Yeah, it's
The
in Ghana.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
So
think I mean, what basically all these innovations that you've had, a lot of countries have come up with affordable ventilators. A number of countries have come up with, testing kits and all that. Yeah, even South Africa also came up with a test kit. I think that takes less than 24 hours to show results. Remember, initially when we had these COVID issues, a lot of countries, when they wanted to do for the first cases, they had to fly the samples to South Africa, and the results could take like 2 weeks before people
wow.
get the results. So it simply means we are actually very innovative. We are very creative. It's just that probably we don't invest a lot in ourselves. And this is, like I said, this I say this situation or this COVID thing was just a blessing in disguise. It's so sad we've lost people. It's so unfortunate. Some people have died due to COVID, but also you can see a lot of innovations have come up during this time. A lot
Yeah.
of young people, the drone technology, the ventilators, the testing kits. I mean, what more can we do? It means like there's a lot of potential. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it needs adversity for people to come up with solution. Maybe that's why they're saying is like necessity is the mother of all invention or innovation. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely forced us to up our games and work on what we have than expecting
Hmm.
what. And this comes, as you said, like it's about investing in ourselves and in the youth. Like why why we are where we are is because not enough is invested in the youth, in the universities, in schools. It's usually aid. And think about it this way, like maybe it's hard for us to understand why aid is hurting us, but think about it as a single person. If you used to somebody if you have somebody that is just giving you money
Hmm.
every day, African Tigress, you're getting like $1,000 from that person. You think you'll be working as hard as you are
No.
now. You're like, that cash is coming, that check is coming tomorrow. So it's somehow, even if you are a well-intentioned person, a hardworking person, it takes that drive from you. You need that drive. You need to have that something push from inside of you telling you that you need to do this. If you're dependent on someone, you will never be able to reach your full potential.
That's
So
very
that,
true.
yeah.
You can't do anything when someone keeps giving you free stuff. You can't.
and that and that is exactly why they're doing it, though. The
And
whoever
unfortunately,
has,
when
yeah,
someone does that, he keeps giving you free stuff and you are accepting it. So when it comes to a time they ask you for anything they want,
you say
you
yes.
give them with their on their terms, because you know if you don't, you're going to lose this money and you're not used to working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not free. Like, yes, it seems like free, and I'm sure our leaders will consider it free because they might not need to pay for it, but their grandchildren and children will definitely pay for it. Karma comes around.
Yeah, that's
um
very true.
yeah, so the other one, controversial one, I must say, I did a video on it, but I didn't post it yet, is about Madagascar. And they have claimed they found, I hope they don't take down this live. I hear that they're removing videos
Yes,
about talking
videos
about
about. I actually wanted to tell
Madagascar.
you about that. Videos about Madagascar, the COVID organics. They are taking. Anyway, our title doesn't show that, so they won't.
Yeah,
They won't
and
get it
we might,
immediately.
yeah, we might need to talk in code so that they don't take down this video. But
Yeah,
it is okay. There's a lot to this story. They said they discovered it. They said, what is it like? It has something that fights malaria or something like that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
The plant. Yeah, the plant
yeah,
has been used in a while. Do you know who? Do you know very interesting thing is I learned that the plant was first brought to Madagascar by the Chinese way
I
back.
I saw that.
Yeah, to treat malaria, and the World Health Organization had rejected it.
Yeah,
And
it,
now you see the even videos. If like I mean, there's something. If it was rejected and it has actually been used and it's actually effective in that country, and then now it has actually proved to help with COVID. But when you're doing videos or content about it, it's being taken down. I mean, for me, that actually sends a certain message, you know?
exactly. It's a violation of free speech, by the way. One, they said they discovered it, right? If somebody else in the West said they discovered it, would they have gotten the same kind of reaction? One, we will accept them with open arms. Two, we will not even question it. I'm not saying let's not question it, because we don't know, because that maybe herbal drink doesn't have, they are not disclosing what is inside it. So they need to disclose, that is, every, like, other than the one ingredient they told us, they need to tell everybody what is in it. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in that too. And they need to show us the cases, as in 100 people were tasted after taking
Mm-hmm.
this was the result, and this is what we were able to accomplish. They need to show a result of the research. That I am a firm believer of
Yeah,
before I take
yeah.
anything. But my thing is, the fact that it caused so much controversy and people doubting it and people looking down on it really upset me. Like, the real question should be, okay, you found it, let's see how you got to this point.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Because yeah, all we need is just to get how did you get it and all that, but not trying to bash and oh no, that's like even people before they get to know or even find out what's in the drink, they are actually already dismissing it. I know if it was actually discovered by the big pharma, the big pharmaceutical companies or someone in the West or whatever, they would not even disclose what it is. They would patent it and
true.
we would
That's
never
very
know.
true.
And it would be supplied.
And it will be,
We
we
would
will
be
be told
told,
it's mandatory to take.
oh yes.
Yeah, someone is asking, is it the same as Dr. Sabi? I'm not sure if it's the same ingredient, but we know it's a natural ingredient, so probably comes from. It has the same. I'm hoping the same kind of effect. But one thing I need to be proud of is Madagascar. Whether they found the cure or not, they were really generous. They were sending to Equatorial Guinea. Guinea-Bissau, I think, accepted, and now Tanzania, Magufuli is saying
Tanzania, yeah.
we want the next order, and that actually made me smile a little. Like, even with all the controversy going on, they were like, our brothers and sisters said that they made this, we are going to support it, and we believe in you. It's like, believe what, how else can you show somebody that you believe in them? They're showing them that they stand with them.
Yeah, also Now that, so I see somebody in the comment section saying that now that Madagascar talked about finding a cure, every other country is now talking about having a vaccine. And the human trials on vaccines have already started in various African countries.
Yeah.
And it's just this past month that they were talking about trying their vaccine on Kenya.
Yeah, I saw.
Previously, they talked about trying the vaccines in Africa in some French television, and
Yeah.
people raised their voices against it, and then they apologized. But does
Yeah.
it really matter? I recently read in the newspaper, even the human trials in Kenya have already started.
For sure. For real.
Yeah,
Like they have
yeah, the
evidence.
vaccine human trials. Yeah, it was in the news. It was in the daily newspaper about 2, 3 days ago.
Where are they testing this out? Who? On who? Like is it they go to the rural community?
Absolutely no idea. I don't know whom they are trying on. They said they have volunteers. Yeah, they said they
Mm,
have a number of volunteers. So, as much as I remember, the president and the minister came out and they said there are no trials that will be conducted and all that. But so when now we're getting that there are human trials that are being conducted, where are they getting these sample vaccines from?
yeah.
So
Then they
that's how
probably
that's
yeah.
the question. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You see, we talked about Madagascar and how WHO came out and said it's not confirmed. So blah blah blah. WHO is funded by China. China, China. Most of the pharmaceuticals are from China, and also big giant pharmaceuticals don't want. Like imagine if your income depends on it. Like the best way to think about what what to what extent these people will go is to really think about it, be in their shoes. You're like, that's my income. I'm supposed to get billions on this, and Madagascar comes up with this product that you just get from your backyard and it will not even cost anything. No way, we will not let this happen. So they will do anything they can. They will twist any arm that they can possibly twist, and they'll make it happen, and we will all get vaccinated. That's the
Yeah,
sad truth.
that's yeah. That's very, very true because if at all this one for Madagascar works and all that, anyway, from what you can see, we see it's kind of working, right? So there's somebody who was probably hoping to benefit from this. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's this video that is also going on social media. You've seen the video that it's being taken down.
What? Which one?
The one, Dr. Fauci.
What is he saying? Which one?
No, it's just showing like how selfish some people are. They just want to make profit. So
Of course.
when it comes to the case of Madagascar, it's taking somebody else's income. There's somebody who planned to benefit from it,
And somebody very powerful.
obviously. So
And
even if it works, I highly doubt if it will ever get approved by the World Health Organization.
yeah. And the annoying thing is the pharmaceuticals will take the exact same ingredient these people use, extract it, probably put it in something, and will add some side effect to it that will not even work 100% like the natural ingredient, and we're going to take it, and that's it. That's the world we live in. Sometimes I guess we have to choose our battles. Some battles, I don't know, we can be aware, and we can create awareness and talk about it, but what else can you do if they made it mandatory? African, what will you do?
If they make it mandatory, I won't take it.
And then they'll make sure that you won't travel. They'll say, where's the vaccine for you to travel? The one thing you love, they'll take that away. Secondly, they might say, okay, you have passed that, but like when you have a kid, they'll tell that kid he won't be able to join school if he doesn't have this. Will you homeschool him for the rest of your life? Like they will make our lives hell. And we have to be real about it.
I will move to Madagascar.
What makes you so sure that they one will let you go to Madagascar? Secondly, Madagascar won't be forced like the rest of us.
Oh well, maybe I like okay if they get forced, if it restricts movement, it means it's going to restrict movement outside the country. Or maybe if it's education, it means they said in Madagascar they're giving it to all kids, right?
Yeah.
Who are going to school. So well, it's okay. I'll just move to Madagascar.
I hope it works out for you, really. Somebody, Africa for Life, is telling us stop the China bashing, learn who the real enemy is. Who's the real enemy? I'm curious to know. And we're not saying China is the only enemy. In the last episode, we've discussed that it's not just China. We are allowing to be mistreated everywhere else. The West, China, if you're talking about Bill Gates, everybody takes full. They
Yeah, they
they
are
do
all
as they
like they
please
are all
because we
working
allow them.
together. And
Yeah,
I even did a stream about it last night. The live stream I did, I was
yeah,
talking about these two act like they are economic, how can economic enemies, or they are on some war, but they
yeah,
are both united to oppress Africans.
yeah.
I did a stream about it. They are economic enemies, but they are both united when it comes to oppressing Africans.
Because it benefits everybody. Africa has been feeding the rest of the world for as long as we know, as long as it has been discovered. So um it's I don't know why somebody has a problem with us speaking facts. Chinese are doing what they're doing and they know what they're doing. It's just that we understand that we need to know about it and have a discussion about it so that in the future maybe we'll be able to uh, change the course of the future or change the outcome of what has been happening, and we will not be taken advantage of by China or the West or Bill Gates, as you said. So that's what
Yeah,
we want to achieve at the end of the day. Not I'm just so tired of being taken advantage of. And I just hope we understand our worth, and we are so much worth more than what we were programmed to think. And what we have is so much important, not only for us, but for the rest of the world.
yeah.
Anybody asking, or what are the comments like?
That's what I'm
Um,
checking.
Let me see. We live in a culture of aid, has been, continues to be, and what mitigated political, economic, and humanitarian disaster for most. Yes, I read that book. Dead Aid is an awesome book. That is correct, Mulukan. I agree, 100%. Aid, as long as aid continues, we will be their performers, we will be their puppets, and always doing what the master tells us, because that's the hand that feeds us. And whoever gives you money, you're more likely to listen to what they're going to say, or at least consider it. So aid, we need to stop aid immediately. So yeah.
I see
uh,
somebody saying Africa for Life says, not the whole world. This is just immature talk. Speak facts. I like both of you, but you are not well informed. You see, it is. We're free to air our opinion, but if you'd like, I would really love if Wanga, maybe you could share the link on the stream, so maybe he could come and join. He could
sure.
join. Yeah, just share the link on the stream. Maybe he would help us understand better.
I would
It
love that. Actually,
yeah.
at the end of the day, we have started this. Let me tell you, Africa for Life. I don't know how to send them the link. As I send them the link,
No, there's a place that is written invite. Can you see
okay,
invite?
so
Yeah, copy
invite,
link. Yeah, copy the link.
copy to clipboard, and then I copied.
Yeah, share it on the
I
stream.
commented.
Yeah, comment it on
Okay.
the stream.
We've shared Africa for Life. We would love to hear your thoughts and you educate us. At the end of the day, I can speak for myself and say what I have is a passion for a better Africa and a better life for my kids and their kids in this world. That is why I am driven to talk about these things. I've never claimed I am a superior in this topic, or I know everything that there is to know. But what I can tell you is I'll work hard to educate myself so that I create that environment that I would love to have for my kids. And that is perfectly fine. I would love for you to educate us. How about you, African Tigress? What do you think?
That's the point. I really appreciate it when people have diverse opinion, because nobody, we can say, is has monopoly of knowledge,
Yeah.
and probably what someone thinks as right is not what you believe to be right, and
Yeah.
that's very okay. So it always makes a lot of sense if somebody feels different. It will only make a lot of sense if this person, instead of just saying, oh, that's immature, that's what I think, it's important for this person to actually give their point of view, so that
Yeah.
maybe we can see, like, yeah, where
Yes.
this person is coming from.
Exactly. That is exactly what we talk about. Like, the things that you know, some things African Tigress will be an authority on, I might not be. So for her to come and teach me shows that we want to grow together, or she wants to educate me. It's not a big deal, like everybody starts as a fool on something. That's how you become an expert. So it's perfectly fine, but maybe worded differently. Yeah, I agree with that. And Africa for Life, I think, responded. He says, or she, I don't even know if it's a he, I'm just assuming, if you guys have another time for the stream, I will certainly join. I have a child sleeping right next to me. Understood. Understood. So maybe we can, on then, on when are you available, African Tigress? We can have this conversation.
Yeah, he
There,
should, if I told he or she,
I'm a
if I
she.
told he or okay, if I told she should reach out to you. I mean, your email is always in your comment. She should
Yeah.
reach out to you and talk about it. But I don't know, but still, I believe the whole world, personally, my opinion, yes, the whole world, everybody is trying to take advantage of Africa. Name one country that is not trying to use Africa. Name any country. We cannot even just ignore the fact that these people are starting from the first countries that actually colonized Africa. They wanted, that's taking advantage of Africa. Have they left Africa completely? No, they have not left.
Yeah.
Their
So we can
footprints and everything still in Africa. And right now, that was mostly the Western countries. And right now, the Eastern countries, the East is also trying to do, like, I don't know, I can call it economic colonization or something of Africa. So I don't know. I want to know I would want to know which non-African country really cares about Africa.
Yeah, I would really love to hear from Africa for Life too. And so she said right now she can't, which I understand. A baby, it takes time for them to sleep. So we can have this conversation some other time when we are on live. She can probably join us, and I would love to be educated, because I 100% want the best for Africans, because I honestly believe that we have been taken advantage of. Either willingly or unknowingly, or either being programmed. So I we should all work together instead of maybe attacking each other. We can have a conversation about it, and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I agree with you. I see somebody says in the comment, probably not an African. I actually checked Africa for Life channel. There's a channel, it's not an African,
It's
from
not
what
an.
I
Oh
can see.
my god! I
No,
honestly believed. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I've just checked the channel, and what I can see is different, because I just checked the channel.
If that's a troll, then it's sad. But if it's a real, genuine person, I would love to talk to them and see their perspective. Um, what else? I'm from Wisconsin. How do you say it? Wisconsin, USA. I'm excited to hear how things are from another point of view instead of what I hear here. Hate to see we all struggle with the same issues. Yeah, of course. Like, there's power in unity, but with unity doesn't mean that you agree on everything. I believe that too. You can't possibly agree with like, then you're lying to yourself. Even married couple have differences. With your parents, you don't agree. With your kids, so it's different perspective, and it's fine as long as it's not based on hate and negative vibes. It is perfectly fine if it's to educate or if it's to understand the other's perspective so that we can even have more impact. That's beautiful.
Yep. That's very true. I agree with you.
So so yeah. What else do we want to talk about? I think we finished our agenda, but like, if anybody wants to ask us something or would like us to talk about, we can talk about and we can close this.
Yeah. I'm just checking. That's why I watch Africa. Not surprised. Yeah, I checked Africa for Life. There are two videos on their channel. One is Alia's birthday, and another on September, San Juan's birthday. Two videos uploaded 1 year ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
so sis does not have a channel, but there's two videos on their channel.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So
So when
let me
Mm, tell
pardon?
me. No, you speak.
Now, I was just trying to check some of the other issues. You can actually share the link in the stream for those people who are interested to contribute. Some of the issues that have been happening in Africa or issues of concern to Africa in the past month.
Okay, but somebody asked, what Pan-Africanum, is that how you pronounce it? What are you guys' takes on the future for Africa and where we go from here? If I go first, future of Africa all depends on the people of Africa. Africa is just a land at the end of the day. Without us, it's just Africa is our resources or our land or our what water and trees. No, that's not it. It's us. So the future of Africa depends on us, which is why I am a firm believer. Like, if there's one thing that I'm able to accomplish during this lifetime is have a media for people that look like us, that are from Africa, that can change the narrative and speak our truth and speak our stories with our own language, with our own um, um, eyes. So that would be awesome. Because I said media, okay. I said media because that is what's controlling us right now and what's programming us. Like, if you realize who is popping in the media or who is it in Hollywood or in now, I think Koreans are doing well with their K-pop, is it's soft power trying to show you who you are. And so our kids, the next generation, if we pass on, the only thing they get to see is what we leave them with, the media, with the books. That will stay longer than we can stay. You and I, we tops, we will be here, what, 100 years? That I'm being really generous. So those things are really important for us to help inspire, help build the next generation instead of allowing them to be programmed. Now think about this: the next generation, if we're not here, the things that they will take, especially let's talk about, because what's popping right now is like the rappers and the R&Bs and the Hollywood. Like, even us in Africa listen to those, and they somehow got us hooked on that. The next generation, if we're not here, what they can see is Black people. How are they reflected? Think about the rap game and all the tattoos on their faces. What they talk about is just drugs, is just sex and this and that, nothing positive. Look at the white person, how it's presented. Look at how we are representing ourselves. In the future, the next generation, without any of us alive, the things that they see, they're like, "Ooh, this is how a Black person should act. Ooh, this is what an African is. Ooh." That's what we're leaving for them. So the legacies we need to live is should be inspiring. So in the future, you asked a really good question. The future of Africa depends on the next generation, and the next generation's faith depends on us. How are we going to show them who they are, or present to them, or for them to understand how valuable they are, and they should not be taken advantage of. They should know what their right is, what their obligation is, what they need to work on, what their flaws are. So for the next generation, for us, what we need to do is work on our media, work on our representation, work on building each other and uniting, seeing how beautiful the rest of the like how seeing how Kenya, how much beautiful Kenya is, how beautiful is Ethiopia, how beautiful is Nigeria, South Africa, so that we can connect, having cultural exchange programs, so that we develop that love and unity within the countries, the continent, so that we help build the next generation wonderfully and beautifully, with no inferiority complex or corrupt mind. That's what we can do. And where we can, and you ask where we go from here. In my opinion, where we can go from here, I don't think we can reach any, like, we're at the bottom. So we can rise up if we work together and educate ourselves. Knowledge is key. So as much as we can, educate ourselves, our community, our family members, and then from there we can go and create the society, community that we need to get out of this rut we're in. That's my take on it. You tell us, African Tigress.
In my opinion, I love everything that you have. I love everything that you said, but apart from that, we also need to work on manufacturing, because what one of the things that make us to be so dependent is manufacturing. If we could even empower one African country to be able, like, to be the manufacturing hub, or a number of countries in Africa to be manufacturing hubs, hubs for manufacturing, such that you don't have to over rely on China or the US or wherever to manufacture the products and the equipment that we need. I mean, once we are able to have that, like, manufacturing, I believe, would be able to start empowering. If we empower one country to be strong, to supply, empower the next, I mean, that one would easily work. I believe that is what most of these Southeast Asia countries, the ones, the powerful ones, they did. They started by empowering one, then to the next, I believe we really need to work on our manufacturing, and obviously, of course, our education. Because our education, I mean, there are different things that we need to work on. Education, because you realize there's a lot of things, a lot of brainwashing, and our education system, curriculum, and all that was not meant for us. It's meant to sell a certain agenda, which is not our agenda. And then also the fact that there's a lot of brain drain. A lot of people who are very smart, intelligent, and all that, they actually move out of Africa, go to these other countries. What can our governments do about this? You realize even this person who came up with COVID organics was not even living in Africa. He had moved to France.
Okay.
So we really need to work on our education and retaining. How can I call it? Like, how can we use our talents to develop the continent?
Yeah. Yes. So when you
basically,
yeah, exactly. I wanted to talk about what you mentioned, which is very important. Our educational system, as you said, it's different. Not only that, they only teach us theory. Yeah. When you get your degree or master's and you leave, it's like what the rest of what the world or the organizations expect from you, and what you learned is so different. All you learned was this will happen. Like, it's just theory. No, you didn't go to labs. You didn't see it in real time. You just heard about it, about other nations. And also we learned about international systems, and usually it doesn't apply here. What they're teaching us is this worked in France, this worked in the US, this is how it's supposed to go. And on the ground in Kenya or Ethiopia or in a third world country here, it's not the same. You're like, okay, so like how do you mash that up? So you have to learn it all over again in the job that you are now working for. So theory, you are very right on that. And also you said manufacturing, like building up a country so that we work with that, and that is so true. Like to import, even importing within Africa, it's way expensive than importing something from the US. If you want to import something from the US, it's way cheaper than if you want to import from South Africa or Nigeria or like anywhere else, from Mombasa to Uganda. It will be way expensive than to bring in a shipment from, what is it, thousands of miles. I don't know how far US is, but I know it's really further than within the continent of Africa. So what does that tell you? If I wanted to order as an African, even if I wanted to support a brand that is in Africa, if it's going to cost me way more than if I were to order from the US, what will I do? Even me, I'm not at the place of luxury. I have to think about what cost to minimize. Like, I'm a family person, I need to make sure that this money that I'm saving from here can come here and pay for groceries. So you have to understand that as a whole, even the system is not built so that African countries can benefit each other.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you?
Hello.
You can hear? Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Continue.
Okay. Talking about that, yes, I think that's where the continental free trade comes in. Like, if we can be able to do business among Africans, because I think about we trade 80% outside the continent with other countries outside the continent, and are only about 20% within Africa. So I think that is actually, if we are able to freely move goods within ourselves, if we are able to supply something that maybe Ghana needs or Senegal needs, and get some stuff from Senegal, get some stuff from Namibia, I mean, that way we can be able to, those are some of the first steps that we need to, if we can restrict importation of certain products. I mean, how do we import toothpicks? Why do we import toothpicks?
Yes.
Like, there are some things that really need to be banned from importation, and like it should be made compulsory that it may be expensive, yes, but it should be made compulsory that we should be able to patronize the local ones. And once we patronize, the money will be in the economy. It means the people, even the person who's making the toothpicks or making the clothes or whatever, would be able to spend the money back into the economy. So that means the supplier, even the ones who are not making as much, they would at least be able to, maybe they are the people who are just selling vegetables or something. It means they'll be able to also have money. Ethiopia, there are no second-hand clothes. Are there second-hand clothes in Ethiopia?
There is not as much. I came to Kenya and I realized how big the second-hand market is. It is big. Not, you see, that's consider there's nothing compared to Kenya.
Yeah, you see, that's killing the textile industry. Like, why would somebody waste a lot of money when buying local ones, when they can get cheap imports from China or cheap imports from the UK, from Australia, and the rest? So I actually think one of the things is we need to ban importation of clothes, because it has killed a lot of textile companies in Africa. Clothes are expensive in Ethiopia, I know that, but are people walking naked? They are not.
No.
So people will have to adopt. So instead of buying 20 useless second-hand clothes that have been used by some people that you don't know, 20 useless, just buy one or two quality ones that are made locally.
And it's a hazard to the environment. You know why they give us those second-hand clothes? It's because they can't do nothing about it. They can't dispose it. This is disposing it to us, the waste. If they burn it, they're damaging their environment. Like everything is thought of. They're not
Mm-hmm.
just doing it for the sake of that. And also, you something came to my mind, and also visa travel.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Ethiopia
Yeah.
made it free now for other Africans, which is great. I also know some, which other country did? I forgot. For Africans, visa free arrival.
Nigeria.
Yes.
Nigeria
So
said
now
it was to start on 1st January. I'm not so sure if
eh,
it's actually got. I'm not so sure if it's, with Corona now, like people are not moving, so I'm not so sure if it actually was
maybe not.
implemented.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you see, that's a huge start now. Because for the future that we want, if we want, it's discouraging. Like, oh my God, I have a story to tell you. In Tanzania, I was deported on my honeymoon because I was Ethiopian. So, like, imagine, I went there, my husband, because he's Kenyan, he was told, you can come in, you Ethiopian. Go away. Like, what do you mean? Can't I pay for it? They're like, no, you should have applied when you were there. We only allow Kenyans without visa. You are Ethiopian. You are on our no list. Go away. So I paid with my own money to come back. Can you imagine, in Africa? So this is a
Wow.
simple example for you how much, if I was an American, you think they will return me? I don't
They
know.
get
They might.
visa on arrival.
I suspect no. If I had a different skin color, I suspect no. If I had a different passport, but it was so discouraging to me. I was like, really? Like, what did you think I would? It was and I cried that day. But like,
That way.
imagine that's how we are, though. That's how we are. So, but if we start at least encouraging other Africans to travel, that's how. If I don't, like, I always say, like, if I don't know you, African Tigress, how can I love you? It would just be a fake love. If I keep saying, preaching Africa unite, Africa love, we need to love each other, and then I don't know what a Nigerian looks like, how they act, what they're about, if I don't know what a Namibian is like, how can I
Mm-hmm.
love you? For me to fall in love with you as a person, I need to know you. I need to know your culture. I need to know your background. At least I need to have a conversation with you. For the only reason that can happen is if we travel and get to know each other. And for that, a big step is visa, having free visa or on arrival, and letting that person, letting him come to your country with a welcome hand and tell you, welcome, my brother and sister, like, but what happens is, if you're a white person, we're like, at the immigration, you'll be welcomed, karibu, and just like
I know.
smile,
I
and,
know.
oh, thank you for coming, you blessed our country with your presence. But if it's another African person coming to your country, you're like, why are you here? So that's so discouraging. Like, how am I going to be motivated to do more, to get to know your people? The first person I will get to see is the immigration person, and you're mistreating me, you're mishandling me. So
Yeah.
visa
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
is really important. And one thing I have to appreciate Nigeria on is their music. You know how they force, now they're doing it really big with their music. Like, Afrobeats is everywhere. They're doing really well. But how did that start? They forced their people to start listening to their music. So the more they had to listen to their own music, the more creative they let their creative minds speak, sing, with even their Nollywood, their movies, they're doing great. So because of that, now they're international. It's just not Nigeria. Almost everyone
Mm-hmm.
listens to Nigerian music, and Afrobeats is the shit right now. So the same thing, I know
Yep.
Kenyan musicians are fighting for the same thing. They're like, why are we bringing in international musicians here, paying them loads of money, but we don't support our own? That's a reflection of how we move. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, it
I got
froze
this.
for a little bit, but I can hear you now.
Yeah, so I was saying that's a reflection of how we move as a society. We appreciate something that's not ours, but that's how we were programmed. We can't just blame it on ourselves and on the rest of the world as well. We need to reflect, look at ourselves and say, why am I falling short on this? Now let's start appreciating our own, and then we can, introduce it to the rest of the world. But we need to start from our own homes.
I totally agree with you.
And
On that
I
one, I
think
don't even need to add anything. Yes, we need to
yeah,
make free movement, free trade. It should be easier for us to move within the continent, and it should actually be free.
yeah, I agree.
If anything, if it's so hard, then it has to be visa on arrival, because I mean, I think with the US passport they get visa on arrival on almost all countries in Africa,
Yeah.
almost all, not all, because I know some they need to apply beforehand, but they get visa on arrival on almost all African countries. So why is it so hard for me to get visa on arrival maybe in Gambia?
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, we need to work on that.
The thing is, we have to look at the bigger picture as well. That person, when you're deporting them, they come to your country and spend their money. They're paying the taxi driver. They're paying the clothing person, the clerk, the hotel, the food. They are bringing in money to your economy. So you should be
Yeah.
happy to have people to visit your country. Just don't, the excitement shouldn't stop for white people to come and visit your country. It should be your own people coming. You should be happy regardless. Money is money. He's spending the same money. I am spending the same money. You should respect me the same way. If anything, love me more because I'm
Yep.
your sister.
Sure, sure. I totally agree. I
Yeah,
totally agree. We need to learn how we need to treat each other better. That will,
yeah.
I mean, I think I've talked about this a lot of times. The problem is we don't respect each other. Sarah Justice, hi. Sarah Justice, how you doing? Happy to see you here. Anyway, so we need to treat each other better,
Yeah, yeah,
because
and
if we
yeah.
don't respect each other, nobody's going to respect us.
Yeah, respect comes, it should come from ourselves, from within, and we should love ourselves. If we are not capable of loving ourselves, we will not love other people. And that is exactly what I think is evident, what is happening in Africa right now, since its selfishness is the core of everything. It's like, who cares if the next generation will suffer? I'll still take the money and put it in my pocket, not even put it in the infrastructure or anything that will be sustainable. So love,
Mm-hmm.
respect, and once you love each other, then you start caring, and you'll be like, okay, if this is going to affect her, maybe I shouldn't do it. And yeah,
I
technology also, we're far behind, but it's not, it also ties to something African Tigress said earlier. It's about brain drain. Look at the robot that was made in where's Jesus Christ from? Israel. So Jerusalem, Israel made this robot. I think she's called Sophie, the
yeah,
very first robot that can conversate and everything in like what, hundreds of languages. And guess what? From
yep. I get.
many
I
of
know it.
the people that contributed in making her, in the design, and what is it like, in the AI, were Ethiopians. And I'm sure there were lots of Africans as well, but thousands of Ethiopians contributed. But who made it? Israel. So that is going to go in the books as Israel made the very first robot, Sophie, that can do this, and artificial intelligence. That's it, brain drain. But if those people, if we've done enough, if they had a stable economy, stable place that they can prosper, they could have done so much in Africa. And it would have been us saying, oh, we made that. But now, nope, Israel made that. And so they're getting the applause, and they're benefiting from our brains, basically.
Yep, that's very true. But when talking about technology, we are not even. We are not. You see, they are now at robotics and AI. We are not even anywhere close. We are still at assembling. We're celebrating Rwanda. They got to make phones now. cheap labor, providing cheap labor to assemble phones when people are talking about AI and robotics. So we still have, that's what I was talking about. We can start by probably like doing it systematically, empowering certain countries and, a certain country to be able to be the hub, the technological hub, investing in that stuff. And then we move to the next and stuff like that.
And I think that diaspora comes in here. Like, think about it. They the brain drains, like the people that are taken from Africa, the diaspora community, the Black community. They are, whether we like it or not, they are more advanced. Like they get all the informations. The schooling system is better than ours. So they have first-hand experience. They have experience. Other than schooling, they have experience. They probably worked on that technology that we're talking about, or they have went 1-2 steps already in that manufacturing, or in the things that we talk about. Maybe they've already done it, because we're a bit behind when it comes to that. So they can bring in that information. They have experience, they have, and mentor us in Africa, help us with our shortcomings, and we can work together, and that's a win-win, instead of another person from another nation
Sure,
benefiting.
for sure. I don't know. The internet just started
Getting a
acting up.
business.
I can't hear you
So
very well.
sorry. Okay, maybe it's the network for me. How about now? Just tell me when I stop
Yeah,
freezing.
I don't know if it could be mine. Like I think for the past about 10 minutes, it's glitching.
Oh, sorry. Okay, then let me just wrap it up. I was just saying, the African diaspora and the Black community that is outside can come and help us with that, and in the process help themselves, because it's a win-win. They get to create something, create employment, and mentor us, and also they can get money out of it, because there's untapped resources, there's untapped energy and everything that we can use to better ourselves, and the diaspora community as well. Did you get that, or I'm breaking up?
Yes, I did. I did,
Oh,
but not everything. But I'm
okay.
trying to connect in between. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, then do you have anything to add? Because I don't want you to be just talking to yourself.
It's okay. I think we've pretty much talked about the summary from where we left yesterday, and we've addressed issues and maybe some of the things that we as Africans really need to change. And I hope action. I mean,
Mm.
I think we all know what we need to do, but I
Ah,
hope I
don't
can do as
underestimate.
much in
No, no. I
my
don't think all of
small
us do.
capacity.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, I
That is
can
why
do as
you're
much
very
in my
important. Your
small
voice.
capacity. Yeah, educate people. I mean, yeah, for those who don't know, we need to educate people, but
Yeah,
I believe we know, especially talking about our leaders. I don't think our leaders don't know. Our leaders know. They know
yeah.
what they need to do. It's just that they
Yeah,
are
they
not
do.
doing it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
So
agree.
basically, yeah, that's what I can say. Let's
And
just
if
take action. I hope our leaders can take action.
Yeah, and if you can hear me well, like, that is why you're very important. Your voice is very important. Our voice is very important, because look at me now. Because of this technology that we have, I know you. So I have a friend in you, and now you are a Kenyan. Somebody like Lance is saying, we in the diaspora are waking up to the opportunity of working together with Mama Africa. Lance knows us because of this technology, and now we're becoming a voice to Africa, slowly, as Kenyans say it, pole pole. So
Yeah.
as this is, I'm trying to throw in a little. So um do not be discouraged, or do not think that your voice is not important. It is very much important, and it's not just, don't assume that everybody knows. That is why you're here. That is why you're so important. There are so many people that are like, after watching you, they're like, oh my god, my eyes are open now. This is what's happening. This is an African. This was not my perception of an African, or this is, they did not expect this. So that's a
Yeah.
really great thing, and we should appreciate when something positive is happening. So I really appreciate you and your voice, and I see you working really hard every day to get us the news and update us, and really open dialogues that are really important and worth talking about. So Thank you so much.
All
And
right, thank you
yeah,
too. Thank
I
you
guess
too.
we
Thank
can.
you too. I really appreciate this. I know we'll do this next month again, but I
Yeah.
am also thinking maybe in the course of this month, I could also maybe sometime next week, I could also host you on my platform, on my channel. I'll be going live in about 4 hours from now. You'll probably be asleep.
Wow. Respect.
Yeah,
For
I'll
those
be
of
going
you who don't
live
know, it's
in
really late
about
for
four
us.
hours.
Well done.
Yeah, so for those who are not or who do not check out my channel, African Tigress, subscribe, support. We have conversation and live streams there every single day. So yeah, thank you so much for this, one girl.
Thank you. So you let me know when you want us to have a discussion again, and I'll be here. We'll have a wonderful conversation, I'm sure. Thank you for being here, and we will talk soon.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay. Bye. Okay. So African Tigress have left the building. I want to conclude, but if there's anybody that have, I don't know, a question, or then we can conclude. Oh, thank you, Tony. Thank you, James. Thank you. Thank you, Pan African. Okay, I see something I haven't seen. Um, all this second-hand clothing are actually things donated by people to give away. And these so-called charities are collecting them and turning around and selling them to Africa. Exactly. Exactly. Those things that are coming to us are wastes, basically, because they don't know what to do with them. They are like, oh, there's Africa, and they send it for free, and some businessman, middleman, wants to make more money, so they buy that, and no, take that for free and sell it to us, and that's what's happening. So thank you, African Tigress. Thank you, Osiris. Thank you, President One Day. I like that name, President One Day. Yeah. So that was our topic for today. I hope we kept you entertained as well as informed. As I said earlier, our intention, at least my intention when it comes to this, is creating awareness. I know everything starts from awareness and knowledge, and you knowing what you need to do or what's going on around you. So if we keep being blind, how can we change our circumstances and situations? Sometimes it might be tiring to hear the same thing over and over again, but it needs to go through. Like, we need to understand that we are the ones that can change our future, and we are the ones that can avoid the future that was already meant for us by some really inconsiderate people. So that is why I'm a firm believer on media and taking your own narrative and telling our own stories. And that is why I created this platform. Thank you guys so much for being on this live. This was my second live ever on YouTube, and I think it went well. And I appreciate all of you that were contributing and being part of the discussion. I highly appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching. It's night for me. I don't know if it's what time it is for you guys. So I'll say good day, good night, stay blessed. Bye.